A few people we really want to thank today. We want to thank PHMSA, the webcasting that's going on live across the nation right now. Thanks to all of you who are watching live. Is from the generous support of PHMSA. I think over the last 10 years, PHMSA has shown a real commitment to transparency and getting the word out about pipeline safety, and this is one of the ways they do it to help get our conference out there to the world of the people who can't make it here to New Orleans. So thanks to PHMSA. Also yesterday we had a wonderful tour. Some of us came in a day early and we toured a bunch of facilities out in St. James, Louisiana. Mainly 3 companies helped put that tour on, Marathon Pipeline, Shell, and Plains All-American. And we just wanted to thank them. We took some of the citizen speakers that you'll be hearing from in the next 2 days went on that, and it was a real good way to, really get a feeling for what pipelines look like on the ground and how it all works. So I just wanted to say thanks to those folks, and AOPL and API helped put that on also, and I thought it was a good discussion. The citizens, it was one of the few places where citizens actually outnumbered industry folks, so it was a pretty interesting bus tour, and there was some really good dialogue, and I think we all got a sense of the commitment for safety from all sides. Finally, just want to talk a little bit about why we're here. The title of the conference this year is Getting to Zero, because when you talk to activist groups like ourselves or industry groups, everybody seems to agree that zero incidents is the goal. So we want to talk and have conversations today about how we get there and what the ways are that we can get there. And there's kind of a dichotomy. We're almost schizophrenic about that because we worry about all the little details of pipeline safety. But the overall picture, and I put up this slide that I stole off PHMSA's database just in the last couple days, showing significant incidents of the different types of pipelines. And as you can see, the trends are going down for liquid pipelines, for gas distribution pipelines. They're trending up a little bit for some of the other types of gas pipelines. But overall, the number of significant incidents in any one year are still relatively low. So we're dealing with trying to find ways to prevent a fairly low number of incidents, which means you really have to drill down to a whole bunch of different causes because there isn't one thing that causes all these accidents. So that's the one issue we're dealing with, is decreasing or low number of incidents. Pipelines really are pretty safe overall, but they could be safer. But the other issue that we're dealing with, and we've certainly been dealing with it in the last 15 years, is just the rash of major incidents that have happened that have caught the attention of the news and probably have helped grow our audience here to work on these issues. And we're going to hear from folks from San Bruno, we're going to hear from folks from Marshall, Michigan, that were front lines, the citizens that got affected by this and the local governments that were affected. So we're going to hear from them and hopefully can build on those stories. So certainly incidents like the pictures there have been in the news, and even more recently, for the first time ever, pipelines are being talked about at a national level. The White House was surrounded by people wanting to talk about pipelines just last week. Crowds are showing up to talk about pipelines all over the place. So I think because of the incidents and because of a few of these pipelines that are going in, we're hearing about pipelines in the press like we've never heard about pipelines before, and people are even suggesting that there'll be questions during the presidential debates about pipelines. So if we all agree that the main goal is to getting to zero incidents, what actions is it that will get us there? There's a whole range of things, and we're going to try to cover some of those in more depth during the conference today. For the most part, up until lunch today, we'll all be in this room. After lunch, there's some breakout sessions. Because of the renovation in the hotel, we're using kind of a smaller breakout room. It's down the hall and to the right, up the stairs and way down at the end. It's a fairly small breakout room, only holds about 50 people. So I tried to guess which sessions may not want 100 people in them, but so there may be a challenge there if everybody decides they want to be in that. I'm just going to warn you up front about that. Finally, I want to talk about that we're really here today to kind of focus on pipeline safety. I had a stupid hat I was going to put on at this point. It was like a circus hat because I'm an elected official, and early on after getting elected, the county attorneys came to me and they explained that why it's very valuable for me to be blissfully ignorant sometimes. Some issues are coming at us and they don't want me to think about those things until the whole record is out there, and we're ready to deal with it. So I've got my blissfully ignorant hat, which I've left somewhere, that I was going to put on. And I want people to think about that today, too, that we're really got blinders on, and we want to focus on pipeline safety issues, and we all need to put on our blissfully ignorant hat with lots of these tangential issues that some of them are why people are surrounding the White House and stuff. So if people want to talk about the wisdom of tar sands development and how that affects global warming, put on your blissfully ignorant hat for the next 2 days and don't think about that. Think about pipeline safety. You know, if people want to talk about why is it that the U.S. State Department is in charge of siting the biggest pipelines in the country, put on your blissfully ignorant hat, and let's not worry about that for a couple of days either. Let's drill down into the real pipeline issues. If you want to talk about, you know, why FERC 5 years ago thought we needed 56 LNG ports because it was out of our national interest that we had to import all this gas as fast as possible, and they were just permitting LNG ports as fast as possible. And now you're reading that, oh, we're going to turn those around and because it's in our national interest to export that gas as fast as possible. Put on your blissfully ignorant hat on that one for a couple days too, and let's just focus on the pipelines. So that's kind of my spiel. I want to end this little thing, if I can figure out where I am here on this computer, with one more thing, because it's, nope, and that's not the one. Because I think the reason the reason is that I'm not very technically savvy is because I'm trying to do two things at once. Macintosh. Someone's down here saying, I don't think that's the problem here, Jeff. Well, I can't find what I'm looking for, so you're going to be blissfully not have to deal with it. What I was going to show is a brief clip. I don't know, I think a lot of people in the room know, and it seems to become a tradition with the Pipeline Safety Trust Conference, is that every year we hold a conference, and every year there's a major pipeline failure somewhere in the country. And it's like, oh, I think we need one of the ways we can prevent more pipeline failures is to skip having conferences, because there seems to be a cause and effect here somewhere. But certainly yesterday there was a large natural gas pipeline failure in southern Ohio, and I had a little clip that was going to show that, but I think we'll get into those issues enough today. So I want to just move right on to our first keynote speaker, who's Christopher Hart, the Vice Chairman of the National Transportation Safety Board. We've been hearing a lot about the NTSB in the